Welcome to a Learning Arduino for Beginners. I'm Jay, and today we're going to take a look at project enclosures for your electronics projects. Now, I've got two Arduino microcontrollers sitting here, but that don't necessarily mean that's what you have to use these project boxes for. But I'm adding this to this series of videos, so this will work regardless if you're doing Arduino or you're soldering up some little project. But when people think of project boxes, usually something like this is what comes to mind. Now this is one that the lid had been used so many times and repurposed, it wore out or broke or something, so I cut and made a new one, put a speaker in it, and I use this for some of my Arduino tutorials. But this is an old box that you used to get at like Radio Shack. Now, I don't believe any Radio Shacks still exist. If they do, they're independent, because Radio Shack folded up, but I do believe they let, if you wanted to keep the name, you could. But all the Radio Shacks anywhere near me, they've been gone for years now, so the only way you could get a project box was, well, here's another one. This one actually was cheap. I think this was like $1/4, but I got this at a surplus store down, this is about a good 60-70 mile drive. I don't get down there very often. When I do, if I run into stuff like this, I bought, I think, 6 or 8 of these. Because for the price, eventually, you know, I can make a lid for it. That's not that hard. Being that most of the enclosure is there, and the price, worth it. But otherwise, you're reduced to go on eBay is what most people think, or Amazon. But you can get some very inexpensive project enclosures. We're talking a couple of dollars compared to, I think you got something relatively similar to this with the lid. Of course, it wouldn't have the speaker in it on eBay or Amazon. I would have to say you're pushing with shipping and everything. You're going to be up into the $8 to $10 range for this small of an item. Granted, it looks nice, maybe, you know, if you are making something that you're going to submit, you know, professional looking for like a contest, or maybe it's something you're going to file a patent on, well, then go ahead and go this way. But if you're just making something for like school project or just for your own use, there is 2 options that you can get at your local hardware store. And like I said, for just a couple of dollars. So the first one I'm going to show you is this. Of course, as you see, it is round, but it's very versatile. There's lots of sizes. And all it is, oh, pull that apart. It's these caps. These are pressure test caps. Or no, just over pipe test cap. Okay, not pressure. And I'm using 4-inch PVC pipe. And the reason I'd suggest going to your hardware store is because they will usually sell you by the foot. So you will have to buy at least a foot of the pipe. But, you know, ask them nicely when they cut it off, you know, can you cut that into 4 pieces, or can you cut a couple 2-inch and a couple 4-inch ones? They generally, to keep your business, and they're going to be more expensive than the big box home improvement store, but they'll usually give you better customer service. And as you can see, Arduino Uno fits in there. Little room to play. Nice thing is these half breadboards, solderless breadboards, fit in there as well. And you can put your Nano on there, or your Pro Mini or whatever. Then you can peel the backing off, stick it in there. Otherwise, you can use, oh, I forgot to grab one, but those point-to-point solder breadboards, the one you soldering, instead of being solderless like this, they're ones you actually have to use a soldering iron. I'm sorry I forgot to grab them, but I'm pretty sure you know what they are. Those will fit in there. Now I'm using 4-inch because, well, these fit in there, but you can get this in 3-inch, you can get it in 2, 2.5, and if you were doing, you know, something, just a little thing like this, you could probably get away with the 2.5 if you just had a couple things hooked to it. Now, one drawback is they do have these letters on here, but there's another one that's a recess that pushes in that don't have them. I went down to buy these the other day because I was all out of them, and they didn't have any of those. But they're almost the same thing. Otherwise, what you do is you just take some sandpaper and you can sand those off. And generally, once you're done and you drilled your holes for any controls and an LCD screen will fit in here too as well. Once you're all done with that, you generally, paint it, make it look nice. And you get a can of cheap spray paint for $1, $2, depending where you go. But yeah, PVC pipe and test caps. And once you paint these up, they look nice. One little drawback is they are round. But depending what you're making, I mean, it's still, this whole thing, these were, I think these were $1.15 or $1.20. And that's at my local hardware store. If I would have been at Home Depot or Menards, you're probably talking 75 cents, maybe even cheaper for these. And offhand, I can't remember what the PVC pipe costs. I'm sure it's only a couple dollars for a foot. Well, for this size, I know the smaller it gets really cheap. But all right, well, that's using the PVC pipe. Let's move on to another one. And these are found in your electrical section. They're called conduit bodies. Now, there's different variations of these that have ports in different places. And one of the reasons I like to use these, actually, I got a project that I built a while back. I'll show you here quick, and we'll go into looking at them. But this is an item I built for photography. It mounts on a stand right there, so that worked out great having that. I just had to get an adapter for the size. And then this is the photo gate for photography, for doing high-speed photography. But there's several different attachments that go on here. So I've got the plugs. Here's the bigger attachment for doing large things like splashing in water. And this one here would be for like water drop photography. Let me set this down out of the way. But everything fits right in here. Let me show you. I'll open. Now this one is the 3/4, and that just refers to the size of the tubing, the PVC pipe. Open it up here. Now there's a lot of room in there for Nano, Pro Mini. Fortunately, an Uno doesn't fit. One drawback. But your solderless breadboard, these half ones, the power rails can be detached. If you take one of the power rails off, that will fit in there. And it won't quite fit straight up and down. It has to be in at an angle. If you take both of them off, it will fit in there straight up and down. That's what I have in that photo gate I was showing you. And these are more for things where you're going to want to connect something for like, well, another idea I had is if you were building a robot, you could use this to put your controls in, because you can get bigger than this. This is not the biggest size. There's lots bigger. And then they're smaller. This one here is the 1/2 inch. And your standard PVC pipe. This one uses the 1/2 inch pipe. This one uses the 3/4, or you can get adapters to bring it down to any size, or you can adapt it up to any larger size. And hold on a second, cat, get out of there. Oh, the photo gate, I set down next to me on the ground. The kitty cat was playing with the wires there. Let me set it there out of the way. All right. Now these, this one was about $4 at the hardware store. This one here, it's smaller. The Nano will fit in there. The idea for this one, I was going to do remote control, infrared remote control for my TV and stuff that I can use Bluetooth with my phone, or my tablet or my phone, because neither of them have infrared built into them. And I was going to make this little adapter that'd be pointed towards the receiver on the TV, and then I could use the tablet or phone within, what's the range? I think it's like 60, 80 feet, something like that, which I'm going to be nowhere near that far away. But that's the idea. I got this one, and this one only cost, I think this one was like $2.50. These are not that expensive. And they can be modified. If you don't want these holes, you could cut it off. Well, it'd be kind of hard on the one, but you could cut it off and plug it with something. But otherwise, you can make a stand for your project. I mean, it's just an option. If you're not needing to connect, something that needs to support PVC or something, I would probably recommend going this route. Cheap, inexpensive, but this is another option. Like I said, for like robots, stuff like that, if you built the robot frame out of PVC, these would work excellent. But yeah, that's the two I wanted to show you here today. Now, if you've got an idea of something or something you've tried, or even if you think it might, or you can suggest it, I'll check it out. Leave a comment. I always like to get comments, and if you got any questions, you can leave them, although I don't really think there's going to be any questions on this stuff. I mean, these are in the electrical department. You'll find them. Just ask somebody at the store. They'll tell you, just say you want a conduit body. Otherwise, the PVC, it's going to be in plumbing. And there's different thicknesses too. There is cheaper, thinner walled. It gets real inexpensive if you want to really save money. But all right, I think I went on long enough. Like I said, if you think of anything else you could use as an enclosure that you can get relatively inexpensive at like a hardware or home improvement store, leave a comment. So with that, we'll say if you found this information useful, please give us a thumbs up. Would appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe. And with that, I hope you have a great day. And remember, have fun building.